Now, for every aquarium and definitely every pond, it's really important to be aware that many towns put chlorine and chloramone in their tap water. Now, the problem with that is that a lot of time they will actually dose the chlorine and chloramone to maximum minimum levels. So in the old days, they used to put chlorine in the tap water. Then the bugs would get used to the chlorine, then they up the chlorine, then the bugs would get used to the chlorine, and then they up the chlorine, and that starts to become expensive. And chlorine ultimately is not really that healthy for us to drink as humans. So now what they do is they send people around to various parts of the water board, and they will use microscopes and they will check the pathogen count of the water. As soon as pathogens start to show up in the water, they will then dose the chlorine and chloramone further up the pipes, killing the pathogens. So chlorine and chloramone is a very effective way of making sure that our tap water is healthy and all good for us, but it's very bad for our fish, because if we're unlucky and we do a water change and they've just dosed the chlorine and chloramone levels, we will kill the good bacteria in our filter and potentially even kill our fish. So every time you're doing a water change, it is much safer to make sure you dose the chlorine, the water ager, to make sure that you take any chlorine out of the water. Now, if you've got a garden pond and you're filling up small amounts at a time, maybe with an auto top-up system to replace evaporation or something, the fact that you're not putting water ager in isn't the end of the world, yet it still carries risk. If you're doing a water change and you're removing a portion of the water out at one time, and then you're putting the water back in again, then your risk is greatly increased. So to be safe, use water ager every time you do a water change, and to be even safer, even use water ager for top-ups.